Hello everyone, Thranxes here, and welcome back to Factorio, the Mega Factory Edition, Episode 8, where today we're gonna start pushing that science and figuring out where our bottlenecks are. Alright, so there have been some changes. Things that I've done off camera since the last episode, as Factorio is just one of those games you could not possibly watch every moment of it, unfortunately, as much as I would like everybody to. But I went through and I took a lot of the reinforced concrete and I redid our factory in it. And as you can see, it looks oh so much nicer. So this is the new concrete, the reinforced concrete, and the reinforced hazard concrete. And this is the old concrete. Large difference, right? Even with the hazard concrete, you can see the old one, the non-reinforced, yeah, also looks pretty rough as compared to the, oh, there's a nice side by side. So you still get some pattern, but the seams between concrete patches are much less noticeable. You can see they're these little shapes here. And other than that, we let the train with the artillery make its rounds. So we've effectively pushed the bugs back. Now we've got a couple of these weird formations caught between artillery trains that I've went ahead and named so I know what I'm looking to obliterate at different clock positions. I'll likely rename these to clock positions at some point. In some areas you can see there was perfect overlap, and in other areas we get these weird little zones that we want to get rid of. Now all the bugs are behind the pollution with the exception of a couple here at the wedge front at 130. And the pincer at 11 o'clock is eating a lot of pollution. Other than that, there are no other bugs nests eating the pollution anywhere, which is exactly what we wanted. All right, so what else have I done? I think we can afford to get rid of the shields and even the extra here. In fact, let's get going as fast as we can. There we go. Now we're running with speed. Now I made changes to the factory as a whole, and it's a minor change from your perspective, but just know that it took me a really long time. So here's what I did: is I went to every manufacturing section, and in fact I redesigned the blueprint from the ground up. The purpose for this manufacturing layout is to ensure that there are as many beacons as possible, and then roboports for transport. But if, for example, this assembling machine can't make distractors because it's not getting enough defenders, I would have to walk by to each factory and kind of inspect the contents and then try to sleuth out what's going on. You know, is it the defender capsules? Is it the red circuits? Is it a holdup somewhere else in the chain? Are the defender capsules not being made fast enough because they're waiting on speed modules, which are hurting for green circuits, and so on. So what I did is I installed these two lights next to every factory. Every robotic factory in this entire system has them. And these two lights will turn red whenever their contents equal 0. And yes, I had to custom program each and every one of these for each and every factory. If this chest is zeroed out, these lights will go red. Even for a second, they'll go red. So when I'm looking at the factory as a whole while the science is crunching all of the resources, I can see red lights light up, and they will key me into factories that have issues or bottlenecks that need to be addressed. That being said, let's get to it. So we could go with the artillery shell range. Now this will cost 64,000 science, but will eliminate, I believe, many of these little weird zones here. Or there's only 4, but, well, 4, a couple of soft ones. It will also push the max boundary out a little bit. Very good research to do. We also could research faster robot speed, which we started and found out 128,000 science is a lot. But we're actually going to do productivity. If we can get productivity to 100, we'll be getting 2 free pieces of ore for every one we mine up. And while mining productivity by itself isn't a lot of science, to keep it running will be a lot of science. Now we launch a rocket about once every 36 seconds, So to keep up with the 3,000 science per minute that we're doing, we're going to have to launch at least 2 rockets constantly as soon as satellites are ready. Now we have expansion. If we fall behind, we can launch up to 5, but then we won't be able to sustain that. I think we can sustain 2 for quite a while, though. So we're going to leave it there. The goal is to try to get everything sustainable at 3.1 thousand science per minute. And the numbers are picking up. They're all very low for now. So we're up to 500 science a minute. It's climbing. It's going to take time. So let's isolate our science packs here. Although, to be fair, it sort of looks like we've capped out here at 200 science. Oh, no, yeah, so that's what we're making. But these aren't going to kick online to represent the 3,000 that we're consuming until the buffer that each little factory gets is consumed, for example here. It's not a ton, but it's some. I think we can safely say that these science ones should have 2 rows of buffer, please. Just to make my process easier. Okay, so you can see right here, we're looking at rocket fuel is starting to ping. That's normal though. As these shuttles launch more and more, the rocket construction areas are going to be the first to start to flash red as they struggle to keep up with production. But until we're seeing red across the board, sweeping in a whole rocket section, I'm not going to worry about it. And we're just going to expand all of these science chests here to have extra rows. I don't like the 1 row of science buffer. I like a little bit more of a heads up when my resources are going to run out. All right, and then we're just going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the same thing to all of these. If they're not holding 2 rows of science as a buffer, they should be. They're wrong and they need to change. Oops, that should probably be... no, that's fine. Those are keeping up for now. Okay. There you go. We're just going to keep knocking it out. Let's talk about a few of the other things that we've done. So we've also tapped into this copper deposit to start feeding trains, and this copper deposit also to start feeding trains. So what we're going to do while we let the science do its thing is we're actually going to boost some of these, because these deposits are small. All said and done comparatively, 3.3 million, 3.5 million, but it was better than going outside of the wire. I mean, they can't all be 11 million large, or what this one was originally massive. Yeah, 23 million copper. They can't all be winners and ringers like that. And in fact, this needs to change. I don't like this. So in fact, I want it to change. Because this path is never going to cut up through the factory. It was an older design before we fully understood the scheme that we were going with. All right, there you go. Voila, that's good enough. There's not going to be any other reason to head up. So there we have it. And we can put down some of our little solar panels here. Yeah, and accumulators here. Look at that. There you go. All right, we got to keep the science going because the goal is continued science consumption. We're going to see what happens. Now, one of the things that we can afford to do here, let's see. That was my rocket design. We don't need that. We don't need... actually, yes, I am going to save that. Just because that was kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, we don't need that. Or that. Yep, we don't need these anymore. I'm going to save this blueprint, though. Yep, get rid of that. All right, we're looking good. Let's get rid of some of this concrete. We don't need to keep ordering more. These can be condensed. This can be stored. We don't need these. All right, we're just getting rid of some of this extra inventory because we're about to get a whole lot more inventory as we rip apart this copper section. Now, this copper section was feeding our storage matrix, so it was not going to the copper foundry, and therefore is not fueling the front-end production of all the green circuits and everything that we need. There you go. Let's deconstruct it. Boom. That's right. Look at all those speed modules. That's what I want. I want speed modules. And here they come to pick them up. All right, let's continue with the productivity research. I don't know if we'll get to 100. It's quite a bit of science to go from 60 to 100, but we're at least going to push it until we start seeing obvious bottlenecks. Okay, are we all happy now? Oh, wait. No, if they picked up the roboports, there might not be any... Oh, no, they got it. What is this? Copper ore, unacceptable. Oh, my goodness. Get that out of here. Who's being attacked? Oh, from these bugs running around. Yeah, we're going to have to do that artillery range before long. Oh, hello. So we're starting to see some failures of yellow and purple science. And why is that, I wonder? No electric engines. No blue circuits. Why, pray tell? Because I cleared out all of the wrong, whoops. Okay, so we have 2,000 there, and then this should be a... Oh my, okay, well here's what we're gonna do. I sort of dorked that one up, I did. We're gonna get back on top of it though. So we're going to copy these settings for the yellow science, requester chest. And then we're going to apply it here to say you and you and you. Right, and now we're going to find the purple science. Copy that. Always pay attention to the logic chest you are copying items to. Always. Oops. Nope. Not good. So it's just going to be, here we can use this one for a reference. It's 100 and then 100 and 100. All right, and now they're putting all this weird stuff in here that we don't want in here at all. And it's all my fault. It really kind of is. It was a little bit of a knuckleheaded thing to do. That's okay. We're going to get ourselves straightened out. Okay. Let's make sure I didn't do anything weird. Well, no. No, so anything that's having an issue like that, it will light up red. And yes, as you can see, I did the same thing here. Okay. So we're going to fix it now. Right, there you go. Pushing on. Mining productivity, 67. Okay, so far so good. Little flashes of red lights are fine. Permanent red lights are not fine. At all. Not even a little bit. You need to request iron plates. I don't see a reason for those chests to be restricted. You're going to request copper plates. We'll have to keep an eye out for red lights. But again, it's a good thing we did that because that made diagnosing the problem really easy. Alright. We put ourselves in a bad position, so we're starting to get hit with these red lights here. That's okay, that means our production should be running at full steam. So let's take a look at how much science we're producing per minute. I bet it's a far cry short of 3,000. But all of our factories aren't online. Not yet. Not yet. Over here we're going to track these the same. If they'll stop jumping around on me. There we go. Okay. We're going to continue the research. Let's see how we're doing for space science. 2.9, that's acceptable. 2.9, 3, 2.9, 2.9, 2.9, 2.9. We're still in a good place. We're maintaining, but we haven't exhausted all of our resources yet. We still have quite a bit to go. And let's check our storage here. Really not taxing a whole lot yet. There's going to have to be a lot more science happening before the system starts to strain. So let's go down here. And like I really wanted to do, I think if we just take this apart slowly, we'll get it all. Not bad. Okay, that should be plenty of speed module 3s. Goodness, I hope so. It might not, you never know. I don't know why I'm doing the ones on the sides. I should be doing the ones in the middle. This is just going to ensure that once we have to send multiple trains here, because we will have to send another train here eventually, that it will be able to keep up. That's the main goal. Is even though it's a small deposit, I want it to always be able to keep multiple trains full of copper every time they show up. Oop, as you can see, these trains are running. Yep, production is happening. We are making green circuits. Buffer system still looks good. No need to really fret there. Plates are waiting to deposit as soon as there is room. That's good. That means we're still ahead of the curve so far. Put these speed module 3s in. Perfect. And that will ensure those copper areas are always full of copper. And no, don't walk through the area where there's no crosswalk. Danger. Danger. Looks like this one just picked up, too. And it's already back waiting to drop off its copper. That's a good sign. So once we get to productivity 70, we'll be well over 64,000 science. in one run. And that should be most of what is kept in the buffers at that point. So we're going to continue to push research past that point. Make sure that everything keeps up. 2.9, 2.93, 2.9, 2.9. Everything's looking good so far. We've got some red lights in the rocket component area. Not that many, though. This one over here is just starting to kick off. Should be doing fairly well with those. There you go, mining productivity 70. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. There goes our rocket. Perhaps we could get some lights in here that are just white above and beyond the red lights that go off when we're short on materials. Okay, thanks. Let's see, do we have anything up here turning red? We shouldn't. Most of this is infrastructure for building. Some of these items over here can be used for science, but we usually have duplicates of them over down by the science area. Like gears. There's gears over by the science area, but these will supplement if and when they need to. So look at this. So the red lights next to the artillery wait a minute. How many artillery do we have? 17,000. So I think we said that these would only enable if the artillery is less than, let's call it 27,000. I believe that's enough to load the train twice. Well, once, and with what's in reserve, it'll load immediately again. So basically, what we have in reserve is enough to load the trains twice. Or to load it once immediately after it goes out fully loaded. So these lights, though, will kick on if we're under 100, letting us know that we're very, very short. No, these should be 2,700 now that I think about it. Yeah, there's no need to run these constantly. We have way more than enough artillery rounds. In fact, wow, we just made ourselves a huge surplus of artillery rounds, and they need to stop. Stop, stop. You are taxing the system unnecessarily. Okay, good. The other lights we set up, I mean, we set up lights on everything, but the other one that's interesting to note is the concrete. These lights will kick on if we're under 100,000 concrete. Oops, research. Whoops. And we're obviously not under 100,000. We're up to 230,000. That's great. These arms should stop once we get to 1 million. Once we have 1 million refined concrete, we can pretty much pave whatever we want. And that's the goal, right? To pave the planet. Everything's still sitting at 2.9. Oh, wait. 2.6 on the purple science. 2.8 on the space science. Okay. So we need to go one more rocket because we're trending low. We must be using the science a little bit faster than I estimated with my math. So we will now launch 3 rockets every 36 seconds and down to 2.5. Everything else seems to be keeping up. Oh, these don't require those anymore. Interesting. It doesn't look like we're having a problem keeping furnaces and engines in the machines, so maybe we just don't have enough. We just don't have enough machines. If purple science is trending down, then that means it should have stabilized. Okay, so we're making exactly 1,000 purple science per minute. which will not keep up with consumption at all. At all. Even these aren't going to exactly keep up without picking up. But in the bottleneck situation, the low person on the totem pole, or the low science on the totem pole, is the one that you're going to start seeing problems with first. And that appears to be purple. Alright, let's go trash. I want all my drills to go into trash, and all my silly assembling machines to go into trash. Thank you. So we could extend some purple science over this way. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I think to catch up, we're going to go at least 2. At least. Okay, there we are. And I'll go ahead and put a request back on for that hazard concrete. We'll just keep 200 of it on us. In fact, I might try to square this off and put something... Well, or we could make this one big long chain, but then where's the nearest break? Up there? Maybe. Seeing a couple red lights over here. These are lightweight components and rocket fuel. But as these hit red, that means these haven't had their buffer chest emptied yet. Right, so they're still going strong. We're going to keep pushing it. We want our resources to last as long as possible. And every rank of mining productivity that we hit, our overall cost of everything comes down. Or you could look at it like every deposit is worth more, but... Let's see, so we've taken the purple science out of 1,000 per minute, and we're up to 1.1. Going to let it sit there for a moment. Let's see. 2.1, 2.9, 2.5 on the red. So we're trailing behind with red and purple. Red, though, isn't that low. If I had to guess, it's... no. What am I seeing here with this data? Red's been stable for 10 minutes. I mean... production is increased pretty significantly. Red's blue in this scenario. So it did escalate. We do have more machines making it. 2.5, 2.9, 2.0, and yellow's trailing behind. Let's just delete one of these blueprints. We don't need to start filling our storage with all these blueprints. Waiting on furnaces. Interesting. Okay, so that could be a factor in our production. Let's go see where the furnaces are being made at, because obviously they're going to be flashing red like a son of a gun. Doesn't look like there's a slowdown in the materials here. I mean, the stack inserters are feeding these just as fast as they can. That might be max capacity on those furnaces. Which, if that's the case, we can add more furnace production down here. And, in fact, I think we need to. So, let's go ahead and do that. Nope. Let's see, furnaces are right here. So we're going to grab you. And let's see, if we put this here, we can kind of do the break there. Yes, that's what I want to do. And again, I keep making these empty blueprints and then just leaving them in my inventory. Okay. Why is yellow sitting empty for so long? Plenty of resources. It's just a straight production problem with yellow. We just simply need to make more yellow science. That's all there is to it. Same thing, hurting for furnaces. Let's take a look at those. Over the last 10 minutes... No. Let's just look over the last minute. Furnace production is on the rise, and furnace consumption has been pretty steady at 400 a minute, and we're up to 300 right now. Let's keep the research going. We'll check our main area here. So our colored light system tells us everything is doing good except steel. We're starting to hit a heavy section of steel being used. And that generally happens from the rockets making all of the lightweight components and such. I mean, the science as well, but the rockets really are the big drain on the steel. Now, once that steel starts to run low, this section will start offloading more steel and flashing red. Let's take another look at our furnaces, which are up to 380, and we're still consuming more. We're getting there. It looks like we're probably going to be able to break 400. That second factory's been online for a whole minute, though, so I don't know if we're going to see a raise over this. Let's see. Are you getting your furnaces? No. Are you getting your furnaces? So the problem is that they can't just make nonstop. Like the yellow ones, they're red, but they're only red because we need to make more of them. They're not having to stop production at all. And in that way, the purple ones are way worse. Oh my. Let's go take a look at this furnace production area that we just built. We might need to make another one closer to the other purple science. All right, that was productivity 75. We're pushing it to 76 now. Now we could speed this up if I got rid of this light system and we put doubled up inserters here. That's what we had, but I would almost rather just make a new machine. Because it's not that we're running low on supplies. Well, we kind of are. But I mean, they're getting made as fast as they can. Let's put in another furnace production area, actually. We're going to put this one, I'm thinking, over here. That'll work. All right, let's go over and reshape the concrete for that area. So it's going to be like that, and then we'll take the hazard concrete, and we're just going to go around this here. Wonderful. And of course, it's red. Let's let the logic request get filled. And okay, so this rocket section tells us it's fully tapped. This rocket section telling us the same thing. This one's telling us the same thing. Ditto, 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 ditto. So let's see what we're waiting on. Lightweight components have fallen through. Okay, all right. So in order to keep up with the science demand at this point, we're starting to crush the system. The system is starting to collapse. It can't keep up. This area is doing okay. Let's take a look at our foundries. Copper is just flowing. Plenty of it. Iron, same thing. The buffer systems aren't even being used. All of the chests are still full and engaged. Steel. Okay, 2 trains waiting. 3 trains waiting. That's what I like to see. The steel supply is steady. And we're still... we are hitting the buffer system a little bit. Barely, though, barely. This can sustain quite a bit more. So my thought process is... well, let's check the science. 2.5, 1.6, 1.9, 1.0. So purple is having the hardest time keeping up, followed by red, and then yellow, and then blue. How is green doing okay? Well, green's not doing okay. Green's just doing better. Blue's doing the best. Okay, so we don't need to worry about blue for a little bit. What we can do... I feel like we have all of the furnaces that we want now, plus some. So let's see. Furnaces are up to 500 a minute. And we're spending 450. So we're doing fine there. That could change, though. Well, let's double up our red science. That's easy enough. Get rid of that. Put in our hazard concrete. We're just going to leave it open-ended. I have a feeling we're going to add more to that production area before long. And red science is being made. Okay. That purple science, though. That purple science. How can this not keep... let's try this again, right? 1,000 steel, 500 red circuits, and 1,000 bricks. This machine should not have to stop for anybody. Okay. We could build like a buffer chest section over here. I don't know if that's going to give us the benefit we're looking for, though. Oh, it's really trying. So we're using about 15,000 logistics robots right now. And we're pulling 7.7 gigawatts. That's why we got both nuclear reactors running right now. With only one, our solar network could keep us afloat maybe at 6 through the night. All right, we're pushing it. We're not going to stop until the system breaks. And break it shall. But if it doesn't break here, that's a good sign. If this can maintain... conceivably, we only have to chase the production side, which is what I want. I'm thinking with extra factories right there, we should just make another purple science right next to it. Purple science production. That one didn't get the lights for some reason, so we'll put the lights down ourselves. We can do a little bit of manual building for a change. That's not a problem. Ooh, voila. Took it clean out. No, not what we wanted. There we go. Okay. One extra little science area shouldn't be a problem. We can always keep an eye on the production tab. So we are sitting comfortably at about 520 furnaces per minute, and this is going to go up, but it shouldn't be too many more. About 1 every 3 seconds. So that's 2 every 3 seconds. I don't know. That might be more than we're supplying. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It is rising. So I'm having a thought that it would be better to scrap this and instead put down the purple science one. Right? And then what I'm thinking is down here we need like... no, because then that relies... We can go through and tell all the purple science to request from buffer chests. And then we can tell these little buffer chests here to hold some furnaces. Not a lot, but enough. If they just hold 20, let's say 30, that'll keep those busy for quite a while. I don't think we'll need one at every purple science section, but the more frequently we put those buffer chests down, the more it is going to benefit us. Let's do another one here. Again, we just want to hold 20 in it. Let's go ahead and delete some of these that we don't need. More furnaces, more furnaces. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Let's make another one because I'm pretty sure we're going to need more. We're just going to make sure that no matter what our consumption, we're good on furnaces for a while. There's mining productivity 80. Crash the system. Steel is choking, but more importantly, science is going to slow down at some point because we're going to bottom out. And purple is going to be the first to bottom out unless we take some very serious steps to produce more. So let's start producing more. This is going to be tricky to maintain, this extra bit of purple science here. It's not perfectly lined up, but that's okay. There is an easier way to do that. So what we'll do is we'll just take our robotic blueprint of concrete and say, hey, why don't you go ahead and just make all of this concrete, please? And all of this. Not that we need to tax our system more while we're pushing the science like this, but I do like the concrete. I do want the concrete here. It's going to take a lot more science production to keep up with everything. I know we're going to need some yellow, so let's just go ahead and get some yellow produced. There we have it. This should hold us down for a bit. Again, I don't think we're going to keep up with it yet. But we're not going to stop pushing our 3,000 science per minute agenda until either the infrastructure breaks down or we meet the demand. And since we're so far from the demand, we're pretty much just going to continue doing it until system collapse. But as long as the problem is on the production side, we're good. So one of the reasons why we had to do this, this whole series was born in the first place, was because I realized that the system was going to need an overhaul on the supply side, which is effectively what we were doing with the foundries, getting the foundries balanced out, faster loading, adding new drill deposits to bring the materials in so the foundries wouldn't stop, and then we doubled up green circuit production down there, and we doubled up our plastic production to balance this out. We didn't double up red circuits, so we'll have to watch that. We're good for now. But that could have been a supply side issue too, that we were running out of red circuits to begin with. So as long as the issue is not on the supply side, all we have to do is build more factories here. Using buffer chests and factories, we have all this space for renovation, and we have overflow production over here. We can even bridge across the rail section and start building more science down here. And in fact, we will. We will, because the goal is to sustain 3,000 science per minute. That's the goal. Not just hit it when all of our buffers are full. We boosted purple science ahead of blue. Yellow's picked up dramatically. Red is picked up dramatically. Blue is going to need a boost now. You're not waiting on anything, are you, Blue? Okay. How are these going? Alright, these are going just fine. So are those. Okay. Oof, look at the rocket sector. Right, we did discuss that. We need lightweight components. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say, yep, all of this is just going to be duplicated one rung below it, like that. Okay, we got to get rid of some of this extra stuff that we don't need. Hey, look, that's all picked up. That can be done. Good, good. Boom. And that gives us a narrow little walkway there. That's pretty much the end of that rocket section. Let's go ahead and we'll queue up some concrete. All of this needs to be paved. All of this, all of this. Yes. Pave, pave, pave. I think we can do this faster and better for these big sections. Because we can just get a bigger paintbrush, right? Yeah. Right to the edge, and then don't cover up my hazard concrete. Ooh-wee. It's quite a bit. Construction robots are being tasked. We're going to keep going. Mining productivity 83. Can't stop, won't stop. That's right. That's right. I need more science in my life. I keep grabbing the wrong one. All right, very nice. I think we can safely box this one up. It's done. We're going to leave that as a little passageway. And at this point, I would not be surprised if we've fully broken science. Yep, we're out of purple science completely. And the next one, red not far behind. Green doing the best, blue shortly behind it. Okay. Okay, well, there you go. The belt is dry, and that means the rockets will have a chance to catch up. That being said, though, as we're going to go ahead and call the end of the episode, we have quite a bit of production to do to get ready for a sustained 3,000 science per minute. We're going to need a huge science section over here, and maybe more rocket stuff will go down here. I'm not sure. There's not a lot of room for expansion without pushing the wire out. We can push this fenced area out over here, and then we have all of this for, well, no, the rail's going to cut through here. We can bend it down. Build the factory out this way. Maybe even use some of this space if we landfill that in. But in any event, that's where we're going to go ahead and let things finish. So in between this episode and next episode, I'm going to let Mining Productivity 83 wrap up, and then I'm going to let all the buffers fill, and I'm going to come at this with a plan for attack, and how to, I'm sorry, a plan of attack for how we want to take care of sustaining that much science per minute. But this has been the Factorio Mega Factory Series, Episode 8. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I've had a good time playing. And if you did have a good time, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, or else you could miss notifications for the random streams that I do, and or the next new series, should YouTube decide with its algorithm that you don't deserve to get that update. That's why you ring the bell, to overcome the algorithm. But until next time, take care.